We're going to be doing some live coding for in process. The main things I'm going to be trying to update are the collect page, the create page, and where we're storing files. First, I'm going to update the create page, which right now does not redirect on the creation of a new token. When you create a new token, I want it to redirect you over to the collect page. And on the collect page, I would like it so that the button works to be able to purchase. Right now, we've got a feed page, which is great. I'm not sure if the leave a comment button will work with the new protocol, so I would like to update that collect button. Third, I want to update from IPFS to Arweave. I've been finding that the costs of IPFS have not been easy to account for in the long term for having to pay a subscription. Meanwhile, Arweave payments are a one-time payment and ND media is stored on chain. So I'm going to rotate over to using Arweave. And finally, I'm going to update the SEO image so that when we share this on a place like on Twitter, we have an image similar to what you see from other top digital art platforms. And so you might be asking yourself, is this video for me? If you are a creator and you have been dissatisfied with how the platforms are treating you, whether that's because their tools are insufficient, they continue to update their tools and not support the tools that you have already gotten accustomed to using, or for any other reason, this is to help you be able to build your own set of tools that is a fork of the top tool set that exists. You can see right now when I share this link, I'm not even getting an SEO image popping out. So we want an SEO image there because the link is not too pretty. When you share the link on social, we want it to actually show up an image. Those 4 steps: redirect on create, have the collect button actually purchase, switch from IPFS to Arweave, and add in the SEO image. Let's get started. Step 1, I'm going to need to open up Cursor. I'm already in the in process folder, so let's open up Cursor. I'm also going to open up Linear. Linear is where I track all of my tickets, and it helps me to do project management. So we'll back out to projects. Now I go into Latasha. And once we're in the Latasha project, we'll go to the create page. And the first ticket I'm going to be working on is the on success redirect. So I'll click the copy branch name button from in the top. Now I need to actually find where Cursor got opened. I think it's over here. Let me pull it over. We don't need the terminal anymore. I've got an environment variable file open and I don't want that open, so let's close it. Okay. All right, let's see what we've got in first. Before we dive into doing any code, let's make sure that we're on the latest changes from main. Start from a stable place before we try to change it. We want to open up the code and dive right in. It's so exciting. It's so fun. Slow down, move from a stable place, see past the emotions. We want to be able to see reality clearly. Legibility is a prerequisite to manipulation. If I just dive right into the code and I don't make sure I'm on stable ground, I'm not going to properly be able to manipulate the code like I think I am. So what I'm going to do is going to check out to my new branch. And now I'm going to, let's see what this changes. We're using WAGMI instead of VM. I actually don't think this matters, so we'll discard that change. Publish the branch. Once the branch is finished publishing, I'll then pull the latest changes from main to make sure that I'm not missing anything. Pull from main. If there are any changes that we were missing, it looks like we were missing 2. We've got those. Now we can sync, and at this point, we're on stable ground. We have matched up with production. So our code is matching that which is in GitHub and what I was just showing you on inprocess.mycode.wtf. And then the final thing I'm going to do before getting started with setting up my instructions files, I'm going to run the server. I believe we're using pnpm. We are, so let's run pnpm dev. Running the dev command will start our server, so that way we can get a preview locally on localhost 3000. We don't need Twitter open anymore. And now we'll wait for this to compile. While it's compiling, I'm gonna take a couple deep breaths, get some tea, reorient where we are in the current shipping process. Next question I have is, are my instructions properly set up for the goal I'm trying to achieve, or do I need to delete the current goal and the current steps for the new goal that I'm trying to achieve? I do still want that the create page works for artists, but I really think what we're focused on in this today is going to be collect experience works for humans, for human collectors. And I'm going to delete all these steps because we're now approaching a new goal. I'm going to keep the check mark because I always need to ask. I always have to ask Cursor to add in the check, and I'm just going to keep it here. Notes. If you complete a step, add check to the step. We've got our goal. Make it a heading 2 with the double hashtag. And now we'll go right into steps 1. And now I'm going to add my tickets into here. I'm going to add all the tickets up front before I start any coding. That way, chat has a reference for the overall map that I'm trying to achieve. Stop auto-completing. Okay, let's copy the steps, paste it in there, add a little bit of structure, indent this one more. We've got our first ticket. Redirect is first, collect button is second. I'm already here, so I'm going to copy the Arweave, but Arweave is step 3 for today. So I'll mark this as step 3. Autocomplete is nice in general, but there's sometimes, like here in this instruction, that I don't want it to activate. And it gets a little bit annoying because each time I try to hit tab, tab also accepts the autocomplete. Okay, now let's go to our step 3 in the collect page. We want the collect button. We don't have a collect page for a single token yet, and I don't know that we need it. We've already got the feed. I'll have to ask Latasha when we have our next call next week if we want a specific token collect page or if we want to just keep it as you have a collection feed but no individual page for a single token on a collection. And then finally, step 4. Okay, so now we've got step 1, we'll do our redirect. Step 2, we'll do our collect button. Step 3, update to Arweave. Step 4, SEO image. We have already checked out our branch for on success redirect. We are running our server. Let's see if it has loaded. It is loaded on localhost 3000. Let's see if we can go over to the create page. Let's verify where we're at before we tell it to implement the step. Again, we always want to make sure we have a clear view of reality. Start from stable ground in order to move forward. A prerequisite to manipulation is legibility. So we really want to measure twice before we do a single cut because the AI is going to execute perfectly. If we properly define the problem and set up the correct context, AI is going to be able to execute these quickly. Where it slows us down is if we try to jump in too fast, we don't properly orient the situation ahead of time. And so what we're doing right now is we're setting the table. We're putting down the tablecloth, we're laying out the plates, we're making sure that the entire meal can get executed perfectly so that when everybody comes to sit down at the table, it's all ready and people aren't going to say, where's the butter, where's the rolls? And we have to, it's chaos. And it ends up making the meal take twice as long. Measure twice, cut once. So the step that we're on is we're just going to run through and test what happens when we try to upload something. I don't have any good CC0 art and I don't want to use other people's images. So we're going to go to nouns to get some free content. I'm going to take the latest nouns and I'm just going to download it. Nouns 1398. I don't like the pirate ship. Books are fun. Let's take the book guy. We'll save the image. Nounish. Let's see if we can upload Nounish. There's Nounish. We're not connected, so let's connect our wallet. I need to unlock my password manager so that I can unlock MetaMask. My computer is running very slow today, but at least it's in high def. MetaMask opened up on my other screen. It just had me log in. And it's got me in a different account than what I want to use. Okay, we confirm. We're connected. Let's try the create. If it works right, it will open up a signature. We can sign it, and then we'll get to where I want to see, which is after I sign it, there's no redirect that happens. So here's our signature. And what I expect, what I hope for is that this will redirect us over to the collection that I'm creating so that I can see the collection that I just created. What's actually going to happen? What do you think is going to happen? Have you used InProcess? Do you know what the app does? What happens when this transaction finishes? Has the transaction already finished? Still in the wrong account. MetaMask is the worst wallet extension. I don't know why I still use it. Oh yeah, because it's got my private keys. A slow dev process reduces our capacity to iterate and achieve our goals in a timely manner. It looks like it did finish, and we just got stuck here on creating post. So I'm going to go ahead and add another step after. The redirect should actually cover this. So we can see we weren't redirected. We want to get redirected. So let's go ahead and tell it to please implement step 1. I don't know what this context is, so instead of trying to expand it, I click a new composer, make sure we're in composer, make sure we have agent mode activated, and then simply say, please implement step 1. Actually, I didn't make sure this route is correct. Let's see, it should be collect, collection, and then, oh, we've got a page for token ID. But let's just have it redirect to the collection page right now. So let's tell it to go again. Try again. And let's see if we properly set up this situation so that it's very clear and simple what the AI needs to do. Hopefully I can just drink my tea and click accept, and then I can go back and retry the same experience I just tried, and it's going to have it updated. It looks like we're having issues with Anthropic. And it's just failing with Anthropic. My computer has been slow, and Anthropic requests are failing. What's going on, and how can I overcome this? Initial thought is just restart the computer. That might shut down the stream. I don't necessarily want to shut down the stream, but if it happens, it happens. I could just restart the stream. I could just close out of this. Let's try first just closing out of our cursor and reopen cursor. And let's also try disconnecting. I don't want to disconnect from Wi-Fi because that's also going to mess with the stream. We've got a new copy of In Process. Terminal is not running right now. Computer is very slow. Let's try this again. It looks like I have not properly defined. We want create on success. So I have not properly set up this problem. Let's define a little bit more. The create page is where we're actually components, create page. Let's go into the create. There's the create button. Disabled create is inside of the use. I'm going to refactor this eventually because I don't like using the Z word anymore now that we've seen how they treat people who are heavily invested with building on their platform. So eventually I'll rename this to use in process create provider. But for now, if I don't say the name, it's just because I don't want it to go into the metadata of this video. So let's go into the provider. And inside of this provider, let's go into the hook. And inside of the hook, we've got a create function. And after we create, we don't do anything with that. So we could either update the button, which is calling the function, or we update the provider itself. I would prefer to push creativity to the edges instead of forcing it as a decision on the interior. So let's update create button. So what I'm doing right now is I tried to measure twice, cut once. I did not properly do my initial measurement. So I'm component to up. So I'm making my initial instructions more clear so that the AI has to do less thinking and is able to understand more. Please implement step 1. Component to update should be my button. And then redirect to, and let's give it exactly where I want it to redirect. Inside of the collect route, inside of the collection. And let's send this again. And we're still getting an error that it's not able to do anything. So I think at this point, I'm going to need to restart my computer. Getting a whole lot of vibrations on my phone. Are any of these important? I'm not seeing anything important. So I'm going to turn on do not disturb while I'm coding so that I can stay focused. Okay, so now we've got a handle create function. It calls the create. If we don't get the result contract address passed back, Let's accept this file, and now hopefully it knows to update so that it returns the correct address of what was just created. Let's see what it does inside of the hook. Inside of the hook, we get the hash, then we wait for the transaction receipt, and then we get the contract address from the receipt. Does this function exist? Oh, nice. Okay, it looks like there's already a function that does this. Public client is coming from where? It says use public client as potential. Yeah, I guess. Public client's potentially undefined, but are we using it for anything? Where's use public client coming from? It's coming from WAGMI. We don't want to use WAGMI for this. We should have our own public client inside of lib VM public client, and we're exporting get public client. So let's use that. Const public client equals get public client, and then we'll need to import that. As soon as I put my mouse up here, it auto imports it for me. But it's trying to get it from lib protocol SDK. I actually want it from VM. And this is just public client. Cannot find name public client, but public client's right there. And public client also needs a chain ID, or maybe it assumes a chain ID if we don't pass it in. It does not assume a chain ID, but I would like it to. So let's say equals chain ID, import chain ID, nope. Import chain ID from constants. Is constants in the top level? Constants should be in lib. It should be at lib /consts. That should be correct, but again, my computer is really slow today. I do see a chain ID there. So we should be able to call this without passing anything in. It expects an argument, but I just added in a fallback. Let's close the hook and reopen the hook. Any more errors, or are we all good? No more errors. I'm going to try logging the address right here. Console.log contract address. And let's try rerunning the server. And this time, when we click the button to create, it should first try to sign the transaction. And if it succeeds and we get back a contract address, we should then get redirected to the new page. If we, for some reason, reject the transaction, we shouldn't do anything. Or if the transaction fails, we won't have a contract address and nothing happens. Let's see if all that's true by refreshing the main create page. I wonder if the stream will still be live if I restart my computer, because the stream's not actually running on my computer. It's running inside of a restream session. Can I leave and turn off my computer and the Restream Studio continue to run? The slowness of my computer is impacting drastically our ability to move quickly. So I think it's important that we restart this. So I'm going to go ahead and restart my computer. I'm going to crash this. I'm going to try to restart to get everything faster. I'll be back in a couple seconds. I'll be back in a couple seconds. Wow, it still got me live. Look at that. Let's try to share our screen. Go back to sharing. Open up the chat. Make sure that if anybody is trying to type out, if you've got any questions, if you're tuned in and you're watching this and you have questions while I'm building, please just leave them in the chat and I'll be able to see them right now live during the stream. History's been restored. Let's try starting up our server. Slow file system detected. If it's a network drive, consider moving it to a local folder. If you have antivirus enabled. Okay. It's a little note that we might have a file system issue. It's not a network drive. It is local. Compiling. Compiled. Okay, we see the create page again. I'm going to inspect to be able to verify our logging. And I noticed that my password manager is locked, which means that MetaMask is also locked. Well, I'm assuming MetaMask is locked, but I'm seeing a disconnect button, which makes me think MetaMask is active. No, MetaMask is locked. Okay, maybe I didn't copy the password. Password copied. MetaMask is unlocked. Well, it's unlocking. Let's assume it logs in properly. I'm just going to keep moving forward. Let's try uploading something. Get that now to sharp back in. Okay, we should be seeing a create button, but I'm seeing a disconnect button. So let's try disconnecting and then reconnect. I just logged into you. Come on, MetaMask. The worst wallet on planet Earth is MetaMask. If you're watching this video and you don't have a wallet and you're seeing me use MetaMask and you think, oh, that's probably a good wallet. If Sweetman's using it, I should use it too. Please get that thought out of your head. I recommend using any wallet other than MetaMask. MetaMask is the worst user experience, the worst human experience on planet Earth. The only reason I'm using it is because it's got my funds and I'm scared of exporting the private key or the seed phrase to move it into a different wallet. But if you're just getting started and you don't have a wallet yet, please do not use MetaMask. It is a terrible human experience. They have received tons of criticism and they have never updated it. This app has worked the exact same over the past 10 years. Meanwhile, there are plenty of newer, younger, fresher applications that have a way better human experience. Right now, I've heard the top wallets are Phantom, Coinbase Wallet, Robbie, and maybe Rainbow Wallet. And there's probably tons others. If you heard a name from one of your friends and I didn't say it, go with whatever your friends suggest. What is going on? Come on. Hi, baby. Hi, baby. Hi, princess. How are you? Oh, who's in a cuddly mood? And now I've got to log in again because the experience on MetaMask is top tier, as we were just saying. I know, babe. Yeah, MetaMask is annoying, isn't it? Let's try copying the password again. You have so much hair. How do you always have so much hair? I could just pet you for 30 seconds and then I've got another handful of hair. Come here. Come here. Who's the hairiest girl on the whole planet? You, come here. I'm not done with you yet. Come here, baby. And now you want attention, don't you, Solana? You just can't stand when your sister has attention. Jealous little girl. I know. I'm working, but I can make breaks for you. What are we going to do if MetaMask isn't working? Because this is the third time we're signing into MetaMask, and it's just sitting here getting stuck. I do have Phantom on my computer, so I think let's try to swap over to use that. MetaMask, I'm done messing with you. This is getting to be too bad of a user experience, too bad of an experience for me. I'm sitting here trying to log in and it's not even opening up. Let's pin Phantom and let's see if connecting with Phantom is any easier. Continue with the wallet. Let's connect with Phantom. I need my Phantom password. Let's see if I've got that. Phantom. Let's see if this is it. Look at how fast that was. You see that, MetaMask? It just works. It doesn't sit loading for 10 minutes. So we're going to be using Phantom for now. Phantom's at least working. Let's try. I doubt the wallet has any funds in it, so let me send it a little bit of base ETH so that it can sign. Let's copy my base address and go over to MetaMask, and we'll send it a tiny bit of funds. 90% of our build has just been overcoming technical difficulties with my computer being slow. MetaMask now needs opened again and logged into. How can I get this to work without using MetaMask? I could open up my Coinbase wallet on my phone and send it from there. I'm going to try logging into MetaMask to get the funds over one more time, but really not happy with how negatively the MetaMask extension has been slowing down my build time. It's just been stuck logging in. But I do have a phone here, so let's see if I can, but I need it on testnet. But Coinbase Wallet should work for me to be able to send stuff on testnet. Here's Coinbase Wallet, which is what I typically like to use on my mobile phone. I do have some Sepolia ETH here, and so I might be able to just skip MetaMask and send it from my Coinbase Wallet. MetaMask, get out of here. We're done with you. Can you give me a QR? Receive. Base, I want the QR. There's my QR. Let's try scanning the QR. Oh, whoops, that's going to try to connect it. I don't want to connect. I would like to send. I want to send ETH, Sepolia ETH. Let's send it. Swap it to ETH. I'll make it 0.01111. Get some angel numbers in our day. Scan the QR. Okay, QR gives us our base address. We can confirm and send. It says it was successfully sent on my phone. And now I'm going to try creating. How do I turn on testnet mode? Settings, active networks. Are there more settings then? Developer settings, testnet mode, base Sepolia. We're now in testnet mode. We'll try refreshing this page. Properly orienting the problem is 99% of the problem. The solution does not exist outside of the problem. They're one and the same. And so if we can properly orient it, it aligns the dominoes in a different way. If you try to look at a stack of dominoes, if you look at it from the side and you're like, I'm going to knock down all these dominoes, well, then you're going to knock down each domino and no domino is going to knock over another. If you look at it from the top, the same thing. If you try to knock down all the dominoes, you're going to be knocking them down one at a time. But if you orient the stack of dominoes correctly and you can see it such that they're all lined up, you knock down one domino and then they all fall down together. And so orienting how the view is of the situation changes the relationship with the problem and thus our ability to solve it. Okay, we'll confirm. Fingers crossed, hopefully on execution, it logs the contract address, which it just did. And then hopefully it also redirects us to that collection that we just created. Is it going to redirect us? At a minimum, I can copy this collection address and verify that it's right. It looks like it is compiling the new page. And so it should be redirecting us. It looks like it redirected us, but then it gave us some errors. We'll ignore that for now. Hopefully, we now see the new collection that I created with one token inside of it. vmchain.id inside of the page. Let's see what's going on there. Let's go to app, collect, page. We're using use client as we should. vmchain is coming from Zora to VM. It should, okay, we need to use the same naming convention as the Z app. So that's going to be collect, I think it's bsep : so we need to actually add in the network. Let's first verify that this is correct. Still not getting an ID, so let's try logging. It's only got mainnet addresses in here. It's not allowing us to use any testnet. But I want to use testnet, so we're going to add into here bsep base Sepolia. Any better now? Loading tokens, making progress, not narrow this time. Is it actually going to find our token? Getting errors, fetching tokens, invalid response, looking like we are not getting the tokens on this page. It has no data from 0x. There might not be. I would like to be able to use this on testnet. It's trying to get the JSON extension, but it's failing. Most likely because the JSON extension does not exist at this address on testnet. Okay, so let's start making some updates into here. To redirect includes network name. Actual redirect to that. What we actually want is redirect to network abbreviation collection address, and put that inside of quotes. And let's format this a little bit. Redirect needs to include the network name. And then the other thing is we need to update we need to figure out where this address is and why it's being used. Let's try to find it. Consts. This is our JSON extension registry, which does not seem to be the same on base Sepolia. And so now I'm wondering if there's even a registry on base Sepolia. Let's first look up this address, but I think I remember during the hackathon in November in Thailand that they did not have this address here. I think it's a deterministic address on all chains except for base Sepolia, but I could totally be wrong about that. Let me see if those addresses are inside of GitHub / the Z. And we'll go into packages. Protocol deployments. SRC. We don't want protocol deployments. We want 1155 deployments, addresses. Let's check 8453 to check out base. I do not see the JSON registry in here, so let's try backing out a little bit. Instead of addresses, do we have, I don't even see it in here. Let's try going to testnet. And what I'm going to try to do is click the little pencil to update the styling on one of my apps. I need to use MetaMask here because I need to log in with an account that I already have some tokens on. I am already logged in and it's making me log in again. I'm going to verify over here that I'm already logged in. How did I get, maybe I wasn't just logged in a couple seconds ago. What else? What other options do I have? MetaMask is not wanting me to log in. And I would like to get the JSON registry. Is the JSON registry important? Yes, I could also disable it so that it's optional, because right now it's a required step, and if it fails, the entire app crashes. I could make it so that this is an optional step, and if the JSON registry is found, we use it, and if it's not found, we skip it. If I'm not able to log in with MetaMask in the next couple seconds, which the track record from today is showing that we will not be able to log in with MetaMask, in that case, let's make this JSON registry optional. So let's take a step back. Instead of trying to figure out what the address is, let's try to make it optional so that it's not crashing. Get JSON. Okay. Get collection styles. We want this to be a try catch. Get JSON extension, return no. Please make the get collection style call optional. Actual app crashing if function fails. Required app continues to run if function fails. Error. That's not my error, or maybe it is. Copy, paste. No, there's my error. And let's add in function. And where is this being called? Use collection styling. Let's just run it. Does that help? Come here, princess. I know. How are you? Good. Ooh, you're very hot. Were you just laying in the sun? Loading tokens. Is it going to find them? And hi, princess. Okay, what's our error? Invalid response on feed page. Let's open feed page. Fetch tokens. Gets public client for the chain ID. What's our chain ID? Chain ID is most likely the correct chain ID. We create a public client from that. And then we get tokens of contracts. Let's add some dev logging. Console.log, fetching tokens, chain ID, and address. Let's check out what public client we get. Let's check out what creator client we get. Let's check out what tokens we get. And then what are the filtered tokens that we get? Refresh. $84532. Account is undefined. Chain is base Sepolia. So it looks like our public client's correct. It looks like we got a collector client. And then I'm not seeing token data after that. Get tokens of contract. And now our info is just gone. So let's try refreshing the page again. We get to collector client, and then we never actually get to token data. So something is most likely failing here. Our collector client should have a get tokens of contract. It does. What does this function do? What does the get tokens of get of contract? Get mints of contract. Get pre-mints. Let's try going to a single token page. Just go to token 1, which should be the token that we just created. I just want to see this work. Okay, so our current error is we are trying to get the tokens of the contract, and for some reason we're getting error fetching tokens. Bad response, status 404. Clear out some of these errors, refresh the page. Why is our feed page failing to load on base Sepolia? Invalid response, show. Let's see if Cursor can help. Can you help debug the failing fetch tokens call in feed page. And let's send it. Yeah, I wasn't able to read the collector client. Error is happening because we're trying to fetch tokens from a contract that might not exist. It's probably true. We really don't want to be referencing a subgraph. Can you update the so it does not reference a subgraph? Okay, so it sounds like get tokens of contract is referencing a subgraph, which would make sense for the Z implementation, but we don't want to direct contract calls instead. Sounds like a great move. That was exactly where I was going to think down. Maybe we don't want to be using the SDK if the SDK is relying on a subgraph. And instead, can we just directly read the contract next token ID? And from there, we can get the token URI for each of them. Let's see what happens here. Token URI is inside of our... Is there really no token URI method? I wonder if it's just URI. Because it's a 1155, it might just be URI. Let's just scroll through these functions. Well, no, that's going to take longer than just new URI function, update URI, URI. Takes in a token ID. That's what we want. So this method's actually URI. It does not like how we're doing a big int. Are you happier with our function name? It still is not updated that we've updated this to URI. Are there any other errors other than those two? If not, let's close feed page, reopen feed page. And let's just comment it out. Save it. Undo the comment, save it. Everything's just loading slow today. Starting to need to use the bathroom, but we still have not implemented even step. Well, we have done the redirect, but the page is crashing. So trying to get us back to a place of stability before I go and use the bathroom. We've compiled, so this should be done running. Looks like our errors have all disappeared. I want to add in some more dev logging. Yep, just like that. It knew. It knew. Okay, we're seeing one post now, which is making me happier. I'm going to refresh the page. Loading tokens. Okay, it looks like we were able to get token ID, token results, and for each token, URI is undefined, but we at least have the contract and the token. So URI is currently undefined, and we're getting URI read contract, read the address. And then we read the let I equals 1, I is less than 2. URI, that should be. Okay, I do think that's accurate. That's probably most likely what we're actually saving this value to on chain. Let's verify by copying this. Let's go over to Sepolia and let's check if the URI for token ID 1 is actually IPFS undefined. If it is, we'll ignore this problem for now and let's move on so that we'll fix this when we get to Arweave. Contract is not verified. That's a little unfortunate. Can we go to third web? Most likely not. Is this a proxy? Will you let me verify it if it is? Fingers crossed. It did. It lets me verify it. Let's go back to the contract. Contract. Write as proxy. I actually want to read as proxy. There should be a URI method. Let's check out token ID 1. It is IPFS undefined. So this is the correct token. We are seeing the token. Let's go ahead and push these changes and keep moving forward because again, we've spent an hour and I'm still working on step 1. So we've completed step 1. Let's add a check mark to it. We are redirecting when we create a token. Copy the note. Let's add in everything for now. I'll do a deeper review once we get into the code review section of this stream. And then let's sync our changes. And now we'll work on step 2 so that the redirect includes network name. Please, is there already a function that gives us that conversion? I remember on the page we were going XOR to VM, which is going to give us, for a shortened version, what the long address is. Do we have the antonym of this that will, let me just ask. This function input is shortened name, output longer name. How can I do a reverse lookup? Input long name, output short name. Doing a little bit of research to measure what we need to do instead of just chucking it raw at chat, the overall step. Get short network name. This feels like a great step. We'll take the new function. We'll add it to our required. Use get short network name and copy the relative path. Paste the relative path. Let's try using step 2. Please implement step 2. Let's see if step 2 is any faster than step 1. Typically, the first step is the hardest. Going from 0 to 1 is where you encounter all the friction. And so now that we've overcome 0 to 1, hopefully now we can get into our flow of the steps become smaller, the changes become faster. We're able to build that momentum up, in a way that we're not right now. Okay, it's going to modify create button. Let's close everything to the right. Give us a little bit more space. Chain. It's kind of close. Let's change it up a little bit. Right now it's trying to use our chain. What I think I would like to use is our const. Whoops. Let's open our consts file. Because inside of here, we're already using we already have a chain, and I want to continue to use this. So let's, instead of using this chain, we'll use all caps chain. Get rid of use network. Now we've got our chain, and then we push to the short network name with the contract address. I'm seeing some errors, but I think it's just compiling. So let's go back to the create page and try it again. When we go here, it'll start compiling it. It looks like it's already compiled, so it should be a quick refresh. Note, we just passed 1,000 viewers on this stream. This is the first time I've had one of our streams where during the stream itself, we have passed 1,000 viewers. I don't know if it's the high quality or if someone reposted me or what, but thank you to everybody who just made 1,000 views during a stream possible. I'm going to take this opportunity to say, if you're getting value out of the stream, or you're learning something, or you want to learn something, please give this a like, a thumbs up, leave a comment underneath, reshare it so that more people can see the stream, and the information I'm putting out for free can continue to help other creators who want to stay independent and be the platform, because the theory is the creator is the platform. These videos are to help creators stay independent and build their own tools. Let's try uploading our Nounish image. Keep the name the same. Once it uploads, click create. Fingers crossed. Phantom should hopefully open up. Phantom opens up. Let's confirm. And now this time we should, once it finishes, we should see the log. Chain is not defined. Okay, so we've got an error that chain is not defined. That's correct, because we're using the wrong chain. Let's save it and try it again. Refresh the page. Any more errors? Let's try this again. Get our Nounish image in. Click create. Create opens up our Phantom signature. Signing in Phantom hopefully shows us a contract address. Unknown network-based Sepolia. GER. Unknown network-based Sepolia. Okay, we might need to update this function. works in general, but misses NIST-based Sepolia. Actual input-based Sepolia. Can you update so base Sepolia input returns BSEP output? Let's see how it makes the update. Network overrides. It makes it lowercase, checks for any special cases. If so, it returns that special case. Otherwise, it does the normal case. I like that. Let's try it again. Refresh the create page. All right, from here, let's click the upload button, select our Nounish image, and run through the cycle again. The short cycle is, I have an idea, I implement the idea, I verify that the idea looks as good as it does in reality as it did in my head. Try to keep those ideas as short as possible so that way we can iterate over as many ideas as possible in the amount of time that we have during the stream. We sign, opens up Phantom, click sign again, and hopefully this time we match the network. Fingers crossed, this time we see a correct network and contract address. Looks like it auto redirected us, and now we're on our new contract. It included BSEP this time, and if I copy this contract address and go over to Basescan, and I paste that address, we should now see that there is a contract there. So in this contract should have been created just a couple seconds ago. It was created 26 seconds ago. So we are now redirecting to the correct domain. Let's go ahead and commit these changes and keep moving with our steps. We will add the green check mark. Redirect now does include our network name. So we'll copy the exact step, go to our get side, click the plus button, paste our message, commit and push. Were there any other changes I wanted to include right now before we open up a pull request, ship this, and then move on to the collect button? I think for now, this is good. Is there anything else we want to do here? We want the redirect to work. The redirect is working. Let's get this shipped and move on. So next step, we go to GitHub, wherever the repository is. In this case, the code is stored underneath my organization. And so we can go into my repositories, go to the in-process repo. And now we're in the review process. We have planned, measure twice, execute, cut once, and now we verify in our review step, are we happy with the output house that we have built? Create the pull request. In the main, I'm going to open up Slack, which is where I share these pull requests with my team. As we're shipping, it is very important to share the work we're doing with someone. If you're shipping in a box and nobody knows that you're shipping, but you're doing it every day, you're probably going to complain and start to say, I'm shipping every day, but I don't have any opportunities. Well, yeah, that's because nobody knows that you're shipping, so you might as well not be shipping. Communication is incredibly important for builders. Devs oftentimes like to lock ourselves in the back room. I am an introvert. I identify as an introvert, and I really like having my alone time. Like this coding time right now is me by myself. I'm talking to myself. I'm building by myself. But I found a way to do it in a live setting so that it can be shared. And I've got 1,000 people right now who are watching this, but I don't have to interact with any of them. So it's a nice balance for me to be able to be introverted, while still being able to share my process publicly so that I can get eyes. Why do builders need eyes? Because builders need, one, funding, and having eyes is the first step to us to be able to get funding. Two, additional opportunities. If you if you're a dev and you're looking to get hired, if you're just posting publicly and you're showing people how you're building, it becomes way easier for you to get hired, because I receive inbound offers all the time from people who are just watching my video. They have a dev, they need a dev, they see that I'm building, they can watch me, they can see the type of coder that I am, and then boom, they're sold, not only on my code, but me as a human being. And so then my inbox just fills up with all these opportunities of people who need work, and I don't have time for it right now. So I try to then, if people right now are reaching out and asking for me to work with them, I try to suggest, can I hop on a call with you and help you pair programs so that I can teach you how to fish? I have no more time to give people fish. I do have time to teach people how to fish. And as we scale all of these projects, building at the intersection of music, on-chain, and AI, the more people we have who know how to fish to create these applications, the faster we can iterate as an industry with pumping out new tools for musicians to be able to use globally. Let's go back to the create page. On the create page, our first ticket should have automatically been flagged as in process. It looks like it did not. So we'll copy the name of the ticket, hashtag Latasha. It's just me and Jad now, so Jad's the only person that really knows at this point, and all 1,200 of you that are tuned in live. Paste in the ticket. Now I've shared it. Now I'm going to put in my testing in the thread so that everybody can see how I'm. Okay, it did update to in review. And so now let's, is it failing or is it deploying? It looks like it's successfully deploying. Let's check out if the latest build was successful. And if it was, let's try testing it. I like to test before code review because the test is what we really want to verify. The code, I'm always going to be opinionated and I'm going to have feedback. And so if the testing works, sure, we still want to have high standards on our code, but if it works and the human experience is great, that's what matters. Are there any other builds happening right now? Builds have all been successful. Let's jump into this branch and start testing. I'll immediately go to /create. And then before I try to upload, I'm going to see if it gives me a connect button, and I'm going to connect with Phantom.